Hi, it's Ian, and welcome back to my 30 Days of Taiko Skills. Today is day 4, and I'm talking about beating spots. So the beating spot is the area that we're trying to hit on the drum. And if you've taken a lesson or a workshop with me, you might recall that I tend to be pretty particular about how small of an area that we're trying to aim for as we play. And it's probably because I've had teachers in the past that who were very strict as well on where to hit on the drum. So I kind of take that and carry it on. And I think it makes a lot of sense musically to insist that we try to aim for a small spot so we're controlling the kind of sound that we're getting out of the drum or any part of the drum or any other kind of percussion instrument too. So on a drum this size, I usually advise students to try to think of a lime and put that right into the center of the drum and imagine that circle where we're trying to hit. So we're trying to hit that one small circle in the center consistently. And in order to do that, we want to make a kind of a triangle, narrow triangle with our sticks. If we have our sticks in a parallel shape, then we won't be able to hit that circle, small circle. So we have to have a slight triangle to make sure we hit that spot. So just in case we don't know what a lime size is, I have one right here. So this is what we want to imagine to be right there. I also here have a Edobayashi style shime daiko. And in the middle of these, this is made by Miyamoto Unosuke Shoten. And in the middle is this black lacquer called janome, which is a translation. It means snake eye. And this is pretty much a lime-sized circle in the center. And if you see the very best groups and look at their janome-style taiko, you'll see that the very, very center of this black spot is worn. But not even so much the entire black, but only the center of it. So I've seen this most often with Wakayama Shachu, who's one of the best musically proficient groups playing Edobayashi and other traditional styles of music. So that's just gives us something to strive for, that not only is there a lime-sized circle in the center of the shime daiko, but within that is a worn spot that's much smaller inside that. So that's giving you a sense of how accurate they are when they hit the drum. So for practicing this, I think it's probably a good idea to have on your practice pad. You could also do this on your drum if you wanted to, but have a visual kind of marker of where we're trying to aim. So I usually, if it's on a student's practice pad, I might draw for them or just suggest that they just make a little circle like this, just something like that. So that's about a lime size circle that we're aiming for. You put your sticks down and you try to hit within that just as a visual cue like this. Okay. So as you practice, you can just, of course, look at it. If you wanted to, you could videotape yourself and maybe do a angle from above and see, after you play for a while, you can see how accurate you are at hitting the center. Of course, a teacher could watch you or somebody else could check you out. But the idea is that we're just consciously trying to hit this middle center spot. Once you can do that, then we have the choice of moving this spot to wherever we want to on the drum, because the center is not necessarily the best for every single musical application, of course. So sometimes the drum sounds really nice, just slightly over. So maybe half a lime over is the best spot on that drum for that kind of sound you want. Or maybe you're going for a much thinner sound toward the rim. Whatever you're trying to do, first you get the control of hitting the center, and then you move that controlled small spot around to wherever you want to. I think it's a great way to approach beating spots. Now, another thing to think about with beating spots would be For example, if we're hitting the rim for the ka sound, maybe not only which part of the rim we're trying to hit is a consideration, but also which part of the stick we're trying to hit. That's another consideration. So there is a pretty big difference between hitting the rim with the tip of the stick 2 or 3 centimeters down, 5 or 6 centimeters down, or even all the way down to the middle part of the stick. These all produce different sounds. They all produce different effects for durability. So, of course, the farther you go down and hit the rim, the more weight that is on the front side of the stick, and that means there's more stress on the stick as well as the rim of the drum. So if you have done drum reheading, if you take an old skin off and look at the rim on many taiko, you might know that a lot of the rims that have been heavily used can take a huge beating, and they might need to be repaired, maybe re-ground down, or add filler or something like that. So I've done enough of that kind of work to know that the rim, even though it seems like we can just hit it all we want with any kind of stick and any kind of power, it does take quite a beating, and I like to think about that when I'm playing the rim, that it's not quite as durable as just hitting the skin part in the center. It is going to be wood on wood generally, so that's something to consider. So again, of course, the higher up you go, there's less stress on the stick and on the rim. If you go all the way to the tip, though, you might not get the nicest sound, or there's a chance that you might even miss the rim. So maybe within the first, let's say, 3 or 4 centimeters of the stick tip might be a good place to do hit for the sound, as well as the taking care of your sticks and your drum as well. So give it a shot. See if you are able to hit the center and then purposely move that center spot to wherever you want to on the drum, and see how that goes. If you have a larger drum, maybe you have a chudaiko. In that case, you might imagine the size of an orange or a tangerine. Maybe if you have even a larger drum, or getting closer to an odaiko, imagine a grapefruit or some kind of slightly larger circle. So as we get smaller on the drum, the circle beating spot gets smaller. As we get larger and larger, there's more room for that beating spot to grow. But still, even if you have a fairly large odaiko, I still like to think of that center as being around a large grapefruit size. And if you play right in the center, you get a certain kind of punchy sound that's impossible anywhere else. So it's a very good thing to be aware of and practice hitting that center spot. And then you can move that spot to wherever you want to, once you have control of that. So anyway, that's a little bit about beating spots. It's something that I'm always talking about. I'm thinking about for my own playing as well as when I'm teaching others. So hopefully it's something that's helpful to you. And yeah, I will see you on the next one.